Well, it's time to pot on the tomatoes. I've got honeycomb, some gold tumbling tom and red profusions. They're getting a bit crowded in this tray, so I'm going to put them in these big pots. This will be the last time I pot them on, that's why I'm putting them in these big pots. And it won't be long actually, about a month they'll sit in these pots, because they will be going into these hanging baskets, at least the red profusion and the tumbling toms will. Hanging baskets have currently got lettuces in them, but and then maybe I'll have a couple of containers, and then here where the peas are, and I've got some more peas there, those peas will go outside and the cored and tomatoes will go there. And obviously these are just the super earlies. I haven't even sown my main crop tomatoes yet. So yeah, I'm going to pop those out and we'll see what we've got. So I've just done this red profusion, and yeah, it was really nice little plant. And next up is the tumbling tom. I'm only going to do the one of each. Again, it's quite nice. They've come out of these container-wise root trainers, so the roots are all directed sort of deep down to the bottom of the pots where they root air prune rather. So they're all ready to go. I'm quite happy with the state of them. And I'm just dropping them in here at 45 degrees to the pot. So I've got little gaps down the side here. And just fill those in. You don't have to be gentle really with tomatoes. They're really robust, so you can just sort of settle them in nicely. And yeah, so they look a bit sort of small, I would say, in these big pots. But as I say, tomatoes are really vigorous and they'll be growing really quickly. So I've got no concerns about them really going into these pots. I'll be surprised if they're not sort of outgrowing these within 3 or 4 weeks' time. And that's when I'll be planting them out in here. As I say, some of them are going to hanging baskets, some of them will go to containers, and they'll be going in here. It's the 12th, is it 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th of March right now. They'll be going in here about the middle of April, early April to the middle of April, something like that. Tomatoes need 15 degrees centigrade to set fruit. These probably won't be ready to set fruit when they go in here. But I'm also putting the peppers in, and I think the peppers, which are much bigger plants at the moment, they will be ready to set fruit. So I'll probably have this greenhouse about 15 degrees for maybe a week or so, just to set the first flush of fruit. And you know, obviously the tomatoes can sort of take advantage of that extra heat as well. So and then by the time we're into May, it won't take very much energy to raise this greenhouse temperature to 15 degrees. What I generally find is I tally up the value of the fruit that I harvest from the greenhouse, and I compare that to the electricity cost of heating the greenhouse. And generally speaking, it's about a quarter. So it's costing me a quarter of the value of the harvest. I think that's a good investment for early crops. And as I say, I'm not even started my main crops yet. Tomatoes, they grow so fast. There's really no point. I mean, the only reason they grow slow for some people is because the conditions aren't right. Once the conditions are right, they just romp away like crazy. So I'll probably start my first main crop tomatoes, I should think probably the beginning of April, something like that. Either end of March, beginning of April. And that gives them plenty of time to grow on to be ready for planting out sort of middle of May. So there we go. And so I've got my red profusions. And particularly with hanging basket tomatoes, it's really important that they're really stocky and well buried, because you don't want leggy hanging basket tomatoes. The tumbling toms are here and they're looking okay as well. I could take those seed leaves off as well, but I haven't done it. And the cordon tomatoes, the sun golds, looking quite nice. And the honeycombs, not quite as well on, but good enough. And I haven't fed these. I won't be feeding them. There's plenty of feed in the compost, and I'm not using any special compost. I'm just using cheapest chips, multi-purpose from the garden centre, sort of £15 for 3 bags sort of price. So these are going to go back in the conservatory now, and they're going to go under grow lights for a little bit, and as I say, then they'll be back in here, and pretty soon this greenhouse will be looking quite lush, and we're looking forward to it. So I have got a newsletter if you want to follow along, and it's got all the weekly updates, what I'm sowing, what I'm pricking out, what I'm potting on, what I'm planting, and what I'm harvesting quite a lot at the moment. And I think that's it. My name's Steve, and I'll see you soon.